Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave. And I got on the line special guest, Rod and Jill Fazekas, Funny Car Team, Domestic Disturbance, Nitro Funny Cars. How you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thank you very much for having us on the show.
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
I'm good. So, how did you guys first get involved with Funny Cars?
Oh, well, it's really a long, sordid story, but in a nutshell, we've both been involved with motorsports since we've been in 5-6 years old. And through the years, we've worked our way through many different ranks. But one of the first things both of us remember from early on were the funny cars of the 1970s. We think young, but we're a little bit older, so that was when we were in our adolescence. And they're the things that stick out most in our mind. So when it was time for us to choose what the next step was in our racing careers, it just seemed natural.
So now, how long have you guys been doing the funny car thing now?
Well, we started to build about 2.5 years ago, and we're still building the 2 cars, and we're also building and reconstructing, really, the truck and the trailer as well.
Okay. So now, when are we looking to see these funny cars ready?
Probably, we hope to be testing by the end of the year, early next year, and do a late start during the summer of next year. So we're starting everything from ground up here. Jill was running a different car. I was running a alcohol funny car when we decided to go Nitro and go together as an exhibition team. So we started building from ground up, and we do everything in-house here. We do everything from the framework to the body work to all the chassis work. The only thing we're not doing in-house is the final body and paint work. But we do pretty much everything in-house, machine work, everything. Jill's dad's a retired machinist, so we have an in-house machinist. So worked out nice for us. And so between the few of us, we've been doing pretty good in the last few months. We're getting close.
Sounds good. So Rod, tell me a history about your drag racing. What'd you start drag racing in?
I've actually been building most of my life. We were into motorcycles when we were younger. Worked at a motorcycle shop and did some flat track racing, a little bit of motocross, and just always was into cars. My dad was a drag racer and car builder, all his life. So we were always in the garage around the cars. When we were younger, we were doing more of the motorcycle thing. But then when, as you turn and be able to drive, we started getting into our street rods and our muscle cars, and just worked from there. So did a little bit of, building the muscle cars. And I worked at actually where Jill works right now at S&W Race Cars. I worked there for quite a few years and kind of honed the skills as a fabricator. So I was always doing some kind of street rod or car show kind of stuff, and doing a little bit of racing here and there. And then I was running with a jet car team for I believe about 15 years, and I was able to pick up a nostalgia type fuel car that I changed into an alcohol funny car. It was the old Eastern Raider Nitro car from the 70s, and just did some updates on that and everything else, and basically put that back together as an alcohol funny car, and ran that a few times before we decided to do what we're doing now. So we're actually changing that one back into a Nitro car, and I'm building an older chassis because we wanted the nostalgia, be true nostalgic, for Jill. So we're doing the updates, trying to get her into that, which is always a difficult thing, trying to fit Jill into something, seeing she's only 4'11". But that's about it. I did mostly drag racing and some motorcycle racing. Not as extensive as Jill's career, but still exciting. Building them as much as it was driving them at the time, but now we're pretty much pretty energetic about getting behind the wheel again.
So now when both funny cars are ready, you guys are gonna go for your funny car licenses?
Yes. As soon as the cars are ready to test. We're going to go, of course, through a training period. Then we're going to hit the track and do our testing and get licensed. So that'll be. I'm really looking forward to that. We're both looking forward to it, of course, but it's something else, another license I'll hold, and it's really been a crazy ride for me through my whole career. Most people, they'll be involved in one thing or a couple different things, and it just seems like I'm always a rookie. It's in some ways it's very exciting. In other ways, it's a little frustrating to always be wearing that rookie hat. But I'm looking forward to the challenge. There hasn't been anything I haven't been able to drive, and I think this is going to definitely throw me some curveballs, and I actually like that.
Well, tell me about your racing career, Jill.
Well, I started out when I was 5 years old, flat track motorcycle racing, and that's actually where Rodney and I first met. We were both little kids on 50 and 80cc bikes, tearing it up. And then I stayed in flat track racing for a very long time and many years, until it got to the point where I saw the midgets running. It was actually a ARDC midget show, and that was where I decided to make the switch to four wheels. So I got involved in micro sprints for a little bit, and then I wanted to step up to something faster and a little more of a professional level. So I joined the ARDC midgets and ran with them for a little bit. And while I was doing the midgets, I got introduced to some folks in Indianapolis and got involved in the Lynn St. James Women in the Winter Circle whole racing series that she was doing. So I went down the road Atlanta and got my feet wet in a little bit of road racing. I'm trying to go fast here because there's been so many things and so many different steps which led from one thing to another. If this show was 2 hours long, I would have enough time to tell you all the ins and outs. But in a nutshell, after that, it was kind of crazy. Things started to overlap. And while I was still racing my midget, one of the sponsors on my midget was an oil company. And that oil company just so happened to be sponsoring the Monster Jam series at that point in time. So I got introduced to the folks from the monster trucks in the Monster Jam series. And long story short, I met the right people at the right place in the right time, and I got invited down to try out for the monster trucks, and I was offered my first break in professional motorsports, driving the wrenchhead.com monster truck. And that kind of really launched my professional driving career, and that was in the year 2000. And then following that, I got involved in drag racing locally, and very shortly after that, I got this crazy call from this guy named Rod and Jill Fazekas saying the jet car team he worked for was looking for a new driver, and the rest is history there. I did the jet racing for about 8 years, and then when it was time to move away from that, Rodney and I sat down and we said, what are we going to do next? And we threw a lot of different stuff on the table, but we just kept coming back to the funny cars since he already had one, and he was building a lot of spare parts for that, and it just seemed natural to move in that direction.
Very
nice. And that's where we are today.
Very nice. So for the two of you, are there any funny car drivers that were inspirational to you back in the day?
My favorite car back in the day was the Entertainer. And the Entertainer and also Bunny Burkett. And to tell you the truth, I told Bunny this story probably about 8 years ago. We were at a race together, and I said, hey, Bunny, I got to tell you something. You're really actually the reason why I started racing in the first place. My dad was a motorcycle racer. And when the funny car show would come to town, our local racetrack was Maple Grove Raceway, in which we still live very close to Maple Grove Raceway, which is a weird coincidence, but it's cool. And we were there for him racing, my dad racing. And so we always saw the funny cars, and Bunny on that particular night was racing, and she did well. And on the ride home from the race, I said to my dad, now, at that point in time, I was probably about 4.5 years old. I wasn't 5 yet. And I said to him, "Hey, Dad, Bunny Burkett's a woman." And he's like, "Yes, she's a woman." And I think he was kind of scared what was going to come out of my mouth next. But I said, "Well, if she can race, why can't I race?" And he said, "There's no reason you can't. You want to go racing?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And that August, it was probably only a month after that race, I turned 5, and at 5 years old, you could race flat track motorcycles, where at that point in time, they didn't even have junior dragsters yet, so there was no way I could even go drag racing. So flat track is the direction I took, and I just loved it. After my first race, I came off the track, and I told my dad I want to race every day of my life. For the rest of my life, that's what I want to do. And ever since then, that's what I've been working hard to do, and here I am today. I'm very fortunate and lucky. I have my professional career outside of racing is in motorsports, and my second career is motorsports. So it's my life, and I can't imagine life without it.
Now, how about you, Rod? Any funny car drivers inspirational to you?
Mostly, the 70s, you're talking like Raymond Beadle and Dale Poldy and, obviously the Snake and all them guys. I remember seeing them. They used to come through here with the Coca-Cola series back in the day. And all them match racer guys were a pretty cool group of guys. And, as a young kid, you could walk right up and meet them and get a, pat on the back from them and, actually sit in their cars every once in a while if you were a lucky enough kid to get that done with you. And that's kind of what started everything. My dad taking us to the races, and, a lot of his friends were running, like fuel altereds and, things like that. And, once it gets in you, as you know, it doesn't leave you. So it's just still going. So we just starting another chapter, and we when we decided to go Nitro, we wanted to do it the right way, and we started putting this program together, like Jill said, about 2.5 years ago, and we're like I said, we're doing everything in house, so it's taking a little bit longer, but that's the way we want to do it. We're not going to go out there and half done, or the reality show. Let's get it done fast and get it out and make fools out of ourselves. We're going to do it right. So it's taking a little bit more time, but we're really enjoying the build, actually, to tell you the truth. So we'll enjoy it more when we're on the track, but we're chomping at the bit.
So now, what's the plan? Is the plan to match race the two cars?
Yes, we're going to present ourselves as a match racing team. So I would say 90% of the time, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be getting booked into different tracks and special events for the Battle of the Sexes, husband versus wife, Ford versus Chevy. Rodney's body is a 66 Nova. My body is a 71 Mustang. So we're going to play that up a bit and have some fun. But we are racers. We weren't born in the exhibition category. We will always be racers. And I know when I go to the line and I race to win, and so does Rodney. So it's going to be interesting.
I ain't taking no mercy on her, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be some interesting rides home, but we're looking forward to it. We both are very, very passionate about what we do, and obviously we've been doing it for a long time. So that's the plan. And then the other 10% of the time, since we are very competitive folks, it's going to be hard to resist the temptation to enter some races such as the Funny Car Chaos. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure you'll see us out at some select larger race events during the course of the year as we get some seat time.
Now, did you guys get to watch any of the footage of Funny Car Chaos from this past weekend?
Yes, I tuned in a little bit, and I think Rodney caught a little bit of it as well. But to be honest with you, we are involved with S&W Race Cars. I'm the marketing director there, so I keep an eye on everything from a personal interest and from a business interest. But to tell you the truth, we spend almost every waking hour working on our build so we can get out there and be a part of the action instead of watching it. But very good racing, and it's good to see the sport is strong and well and growing. They had a great turnout.
Yeah, it was nice to see Dale Poldy out there too, tuning for Nancy Matters' car.
Yeah.
Yes, it's great to see the pioneers of this sport are still out there doing it, and that's encouraging to Rod and I, because whenever we start to think we're getting a little older, when we work a hard weekend, it takes a little bit longer to recover than it used to. But when you see them out there and they got 20 years on us, it's like, we're a bunch of wimps. We need to suck it up and just keep going. But we're looking forward to competing against those guys and gals. It's very competitive, and that's what we love.
We're actually building the cars to compete. We wish we could have money to go on the tour, but we are building the cars to be able to compete. Doing the exhibition, we can be a little safer, but they will be competitive cars. So, we got help from the best in the business. Between Jimmo and Del and Nicky Bonifant. These guys are all helping us out with the motor program. So we have the right components. We got some good parts in these things, so we'll be able to step on them. If somebody wants to get under our skin, we'll be able to show them what we can do.
Yeah, our normal show is going to be. Our target was to have our true 1970s tune-up, like a mid-70s. So we're picking very low 6-second range, 230 to 240 mile an hour, running 90% nitro, and that's going to be the basis of our tune-up. But then, as Rod said, if we're going racing, I think we could bump into the fives and show them how it's done. Or at least try to, or they'll show us how it's done. But it's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Now, what size fuel pumps are you going to have in these two cars, Rod?
We're going to keep that under wraps right for now. So, if we run certain series, we have to run a certain pump. But as of now, the way we're building them, when we come out, we're going to keep that under wraps until we get out on the track. So
yeah, that's the tough part where we're at right now. We want to share everything with everybody, but at the same time, there are some things we want to hold close until we're ready to debut the cars. You can't show everything, or there would be nothing left exciting to show at the end. So I do some monthly newsletters, and folks can go to our website, which is pmnitro.com, and sign up. So every month, they're only once a month, so we don't nag people with stuff, but it'll give them an update on what we did and where we're at. And like I said, we don't show everything, but we do show a good amount of what we're doing.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe you could do the big fuel pumps like the John Lawson team, him and Joe Haas.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, Dave? I'm sorry.
I was thinking maybe you guys could do the big fuel pumps like John Lawson's funny car team.
Yeah, maybe in time. Yeah, until we get some runs under our belt and make sure everything's good and train the crew. I mean, we're starting from scratch with this, Dave. We're going from ground up, so we do have to get our feet wet and walk before we run kind of thing. But the components are there, so we could step it up to the biggest fuel pump we want to put on it. It'll take it. So we're running all the Alan Johnson blocks and heads and stuff. So the fuel system would be we'd be able to put it on and it would take it. So, but yeah, hopefully one of these days we can step them way up. Once we get some time under our belts and feel comfortable. But right now we're just going to go out and like I said, get our feet wet and start walking a little bit, and then we'll start running pretty hard. So it's not going to take us long because we're, like I said, we're not complete amateurs, but we are with the Nitro. So it's going to take us a little time, but we got the right people behind us, the right parts. So we got some help from everybody from like ProWorks and PRP and S&W is helping us out a little bit, and Redline Oil and Odyssey batteries. We got some good sponsors that are helping us out a little bit, so it's all coming together.
Yeah, and fortunately, I've been in the racing industry long enough, and before I joined S&W Race Cars, I was in the racing safety industry, working for M&R Products, and I got to meet a lot of fine people and forge a lot of strong relationships in the safety equipment industry as well. So we have like, as Rodney stated, a lot of support from the companies he had mentioned, plus Stroud, Simpson, PXP Raceway, ISP, Jersey Girl tie downs. The list goes on and on. It's phenomenal, and everybody has stepped up to chip in to help make our build the best it can be.
Yeah, and these people are family as much as they are friends, so they want to see us succeed, and we're happy to have them on board.
Okay, now you guys were talking about you're worried about your ages. I was gonna say just when you worried about how old you are, just look at Chris the Greek Karamessinis, how old he is, and he's still going.
Exactly. I don't know how old Jill is, but I just turned 11 and a half this year, so I don't know what she's complaining about.
We're in the motor. See, we still think like we're kids on flat track bikes. And in the motorcycle racing world, once you hit 30, you're pretty beat up and hurting pretty bad. But we have made that transition to four wheels, which helps. On motorcycles, you don't bounce like you used to at our age, but hopefully we won't be doing too much bouncing around in these cars. I know we will, but that's the hope. We hope we won't be.
So now, how did the name Domestic Disturbance come about?
That was actually Rodney's idea, and he came up with the idea of Domestic Disturbance, and then we kind of worked together on the artwork, and I came up with the logo, and then Domestic Disturbance was born, and it fits us to a T.
Yeah, you can imagine. They say the hardest thing you can do is, as a married couple, is live with your in-laws or build a house. And to tell you the truth, Dave, we're halfway through building our house when we decided to take this journey on with the Nitro, and we had our parents living with us too. So it's been a pretty good thing, and we're still not at each other's throat as much as what we thought. So the Domestic Disturbance really kind of did fit our life here for the last couple of years. So starting to smooth out, things are starting to come together, and it's working out. So it's a good time.
So now,
we really are a perfect match. The name of the company is Perfect Match Motorsports, and it's true. When you say you've met your soulmate, I have. Not to get all gushy and gooey. We're not really gushy, gooey people, but
I know I found my match. I know I found my match, Dave, when I asked her. I said, well, we could take a year off of racing and finish the house and actually put a bathroom on the upstairs. And she said, nah, that's okay. Let's do the Nitro cars. We can finish the house whenever. So that's when you found a good girl.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yeah, that's a keeper.
Yeah, you got it. 99% of the time.
We have our moments, as every couple does, of course.
We're each other's worst enemy because we're both, like we said, we're diehard racers. So when we are building these things, it's like, well, we could, run what we have right now. Could have been out on the track this year early, and but then it was like, nah, let's put the better stuff in it. So I don't have to ask twice, and we don't have to twist each other's arm to build them bigger and badder.
So when you get these cars ready to go testing, where you plan on going to Maple Grove?
Maple Grove, I'm sure, will be one of the choices we have in front of us. It's really going to depend on what time of the year we're ready to go. If we find ourselves ready to go testing and the weather in the Northeast isn't ready for that, we might head south to do a little bit of testing. But certainly, if the weather's right in this area, I'm sure Maple Grove will be on the list of places that we consider. Yeah,
especially now, Bill Bader took over and he's running it. We have the utmost respect for him and the way he runs things. So if we could work with him, that would be great.
Now, do you guys already have a crew picked out, or are you still waiting until the car's ready?
Yeah, actually, there's the one crew chief is Kenny Moeller, his wife Jessica, and they have their young daughter Ella, who's 4 years old. Kenny, I grew up flat track racing with, and he was a flat track racer, professional flat track racer, and also a professional flat track crew crew chief for many years. So he has a lot of experience at the track and racing, and he knows how to conduct himself around vehicles, and he's obviously a very skilled mechanic. But we will be searching for somebody with extensive Nitro experience to come out on the road with us. So we're in search of that and building the team as we go. Right now we're still in the building stage, so we're careful about who we're bringing on yet, because there's really nothing to do yet as far as training, but that's right around the corner.
Now, when these two cars are ready, when you get ready to do the paint job, are these cars going to have names on them, or is that still a secret?
Oh, no, I'm sure as soon as we come to an agreement with somebody, it'll all be made public, and we plan on doing a formal announcement when that day comes and making it a really big deal, because there's a lot of people, as we stated, that have helped us out and have our back and totally support us, and that includes everybody from the sponsors to personal supporters and people in our lives and our personal lives who have backed us, and of course every member of our team. And you can also access through our site our YouTube channel, and on there all the current team members, there's a slideshow of their racing history, so it's very, very impressive and interesting, and I encourage everybody to please go visit that and check out everybody's individual racing histories, and we will be adding to it, so stay tuned.
That's pmnitro.com.
That's the YouTube channel?
Well, you go to our website, pmnitro.com, and on the website you'll see all the links to all of our social pages, including the YouTube channel.
So, but if they go straight to YouTube, what would they type in?
They would actually type in, hold on one second here, would be, they could do a search on Perfect Match Motorsports. So it'd be Perfect Match Motorsports Nostalgia Funny Cars is the name of our channel.
Okay. Now, when you guys drag race in the past, did you guys do all quarter-mile racing, or you do eighth-mile too?
Both. We'll be running full quarter most of the time, and but then I'm sure there'll be a lot of the eighth-mile tracks we'll be running too. So we're pretty much up for anything once we start running. And the first year or so, I'm sure we're going to stay closer East Coast. More based. Just because of the travel. So we'll probably just be running East Coast probably for the first year, and then after that, then we'll go from there.
Now, do you guys already have your fire suits and all that?
Yeah. Jill was running the jet, and that was all the fire suits are the same, because they were the 20-layer suits. Because she was running over 300 in the jet, and I'm set up with mine because I was running the alcohol car and all that. So we're set with that, and we're going to upgrade some of the helmets and things like that. But other than that, the guys at Simpson will help us with that, and the girls there, and as far as all the safety products and everything, yeah, we're good to go.
So what jet car were you driving, Jill?
Oh, I was driving for Hannah Motorsports and the Queen of Diamonds and the Queen of Diamonds 2.
Yeah, and then now they got the other, I can't remember her name now. She's driving that Queen of Diamonds now.
Yeah, when I left a couple years ago, they hired a new driver, yes.
Yeah. Now, when you used to do jet car driving, did you go all over the world?
Yeah, our team, we did. We traveled extensively. Pretty much, well, as the years went on, we stayed primarily east of the Mississippi, but once in a while we would travel out to Texas and Arizona and also up into Canada. We raced in Canada and in Puerto Rico at Salinas. It was very, very wonderful experience. Wherever you go racing throughout my whole career, that's the one thing I love about racing the most, is all the people you meet along the way and the stories, the road stories you have, and the trips. The trips really stand out in your mind. So that's, I would have to say, one of the things I love most about racing besides winning. And I do believe racing is about winning. And it's just, but the people you meet along the way and the friendships you forge are just wonderful between the crew members and the fans and the track owners and the promoters. It's just great. It is a big family.
Okay, so now, Jill, with your long racing career, what would you consider to be some of the milestones of your racing career?
I would say that would have to be racing on the Springfield Mile would be my number one milestone. It's a historic track with a lot of history, and that was really, at that moment, you're going down the front straightaway, tucked in. Now, this is on motorcycles, and heading into turn one for the first time at full speed. It really makes you feel like this is somewhere special, and I'm doing something very special, and it was just a wonderful experience. So that sticks out in my mind. And then I would have to say the other event that's huge to me is the Night Under Fire at Summit Motorsports Park. That's Bill Bader's track in Norwalk, Ohio. That was always a premier event, and just a pure spectacle, and the best of the best were there competing, and to be a part of that event for many years just is at the very top of the list as well. So they would be the two events and tracks that really stand out in my mind.
Any milestones for you, Rod? Nothing extensive as what Jill has done, but yeah, just pretty much every time you get in the car is another milestone. As far as I'm concerned, it's enjoyable. Like Jill said, it's the whole process. It's from working late and building these things to getting in the truck and driving all night and then racing, like she said, around the family, and friends, and coming back and everybody having a good time. That's pretty much what I look forward to, and that's what I enjoy the most.
Well, let me ask you this, Rod. What was it like for you to get behind the wheel for the first time of the alcohol funny car?
Where was it?
Oh, what was the experience like for the first time?
You know what? It's really weird, but it felt like I'd been there all my life. It was so natural to me that it was actually no nerves, not like they say, when the motor fires up, you think you'd be nervous and this and that, but everything goes away, and it actually felt very natural. And it was funny because I believe that was at like a nostalgia race, and you're doing your parade lap with, like we said, like Dale Pauldie, actually Raymond Beadle was there at the time, and all that, and it's kind of like you look back in the line and see who you're getting towed behind, and it was really exciting. And the funny part about it is at the end of the track, the track worker walked over and he says, "You want me to lift the body, get you out?" And I said, "No." I said, it took me enough years to get in this thing. I'll sit in here all night long if I have to. So it was definitely an exciting but comfortable for some reason. It was just a very comfortable second nature thing. I love it. I can't wait to get back in.
Now, you said you only ran the funny car at a few events, right?
Yeah, only a few times. Jill was running probably about 26 dates a year at that point when I got my car done, and I was trying to go with her as many times possible, so we could only get my car out, like maybe 5 times a year, 6 times a year, and that's kind of, when we decided what we wanted to do, we kind of wanted to go together. When we had to get her out of the car she was in, we decided to go to the Nitro, and it's like that's kind of why we want to do the exhibition thing, because we really enjoy just going down the road together, me and her, and going racing together, and we want to do something together. I can't wait to line up against her, and not that I'm going to have any mercy on her or anything, but I got to make sure she doesn't play with my clutch, and I won't touch her car. So we'll make sure it's all in the up and up, and can't wait until we get there.
So now, what the alcohol funny car was the quickest ET you had in that funny car?
I don't even remember, to tell you the truth. It's been so long ago now. I think it was like I don't even remember.
I believe it was mid-sevens.
Yeah, I think it was like a 738 at 187 or something like that. It wasn't killer. We were having issues the whole time we were running it, and until we found out
So, Jill, what was your quickest pass in the jet dragster?
That was the quickest one on a time slip was 310.75, I believe, mile an hour, and my quickest ET would have been, I believe, a 508.
Yeah.
So that was the quickest passes on the timesheet. Yes, yes.
All right.
So I love speed. I've loved speed since I was a little kid. When I first started out racing, my dad said it, my first race, now I don't remember this, but he does. He said I just kept it wide open around the guardrail, wound up lapping my brother, unfortunately, who was a little bit older than me. Racing wasn't his thing, but he's basically a professional fisherman and hunter, so he's very skilled at what he does. But racing was my thing, and I just love it. It's in my blood.
All right, you two, I'm going to ask you a few fun questions here before I finish up the interview. Do you guys have any hobbies outside of building these funny cars?
Building funny cars. We haven't had too much time right now to do too much of anything else, but I'll let Jill answer because we really do enjoy anything we can be doing together is what we enjoy doing. That's our hobby, and we like hunting and fishing just like everybody else, and we love to get on the motorcycles again, and dirt, trail bike ride and things like that. Jill's dad retired up to the mountains, and we can't wait to load the four-wheeler up and go up there and ride around a little bit. And so, it's pretty much, if it's got wheels, that's our hobby.
I do enjoy target shooting.
That's my problem. She enjoys target shooting, Dave.
I'm a pretty good shot, too.
Yeah. She actually has medals in marksmanship, so the little girl's packed full of everything. She's got weightlifting medals, she's got target shooting medals, she's got a little bit, all kind of medals she's got, so it's amazing. She is definitely a little thing packed full of energy, that's for sure.
Now, do you have any trophies from drag racing, Jill?
Yes, I have a number of them. It's everything from local races to more regional and national events as far as exhibition racing, not professional NHRA racing.
No Wallies yet.
No Wallies yet.
We're working on that.
But I do have a number of Night Under Fire trophies and some checks along the way, along my whole racing career. That's the only thing I missed about being an amateur racer. It is you don't get the trophies much anymore. Almost everything then switched to checks as you became an expert and a pro, and you miss the trophies. So it's very few and far between when you win an event and actually get a trophy. Usually it's a check, but you take a picture of it and it's something to remember. But the rest of it just goes right back into your racing. So it's not like you get to go on a vacation with it or anything. It goes into racing components.
Goes into going faster.
That's it.
Now, if you two were able to do time traveling and go back in time, would you do anything differently? Like, would you start the funny car building sooner in your careers?
I would say yes, probably. I mean, Jill, we were like Jill said, there's a point where you got to get out of the motorcycles. Just, as much as you're passionate about it, physically you can't bounce like you used to. But yeah, if I had to do it over, I would have built the first car. It would have been a Nitro car, and we would have started back then, and we would have, if we had to go back in time, we would have built two Nitro cars from day one. But when you're younger and you everything, from day one, you start building your first street car and you're driving it to work and it's breaking down on you because you're trying to do something it's not meant to do, but we all have done it, and it just gradually goes from there to, okay, now we got something off the street that's only for the track, and you keep building up. So if you have any advice to give your younger viewers, it's kind of like, like my dad always says, find out what you want to do and then do it 110%. So I wish I would have took the information a little bit more to heart back then, and we'd have a little bit more. We won't be so green with the Nitro thing at this point. So, but that's about it. That's probably what we would have done from day one.
So now, what would you guys consider to be your favorite food to eat?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Dave?
I said, what would you two consider to be your favorite food that you guys like to eat?
Food?
Oh, a favorite food. Ooh, that's tricky. For me, it's shrimp. I love shrimp. That's my favorite.
Anything with cheese she likes. Don't let her kid you.
Yes, and cheese.
So we are like the true American, just double cheese pizzas all day long, Dave.
Okay.
But you gotta watch it because these seats, like the ISP seats, they're formed right to your butt. So that's always my gauge. It's like as soon as my seat starts feeling a little tight, it's like, okay, I gotta cut back.
I keep feeding them because I want to try to be able to catch her easier.
Yeah. But no, I'm actually probably about 1.5 pounds away from my race weight, which I consider my fighting weight. So I'm real close to that. But it's something you keep an eye on because the lighter you are, the faster you go. So it's Rod better look out.
Yeah. I'll just turn my car up. The supercharger will spin faster for me.
So now, what are your favorite beverages to drink?
Adult or normal?
You could do both.
I'm more or less seltzer water, and when it comes to at the end of a Saturday night or Sunday night, and we got a lot done, I'd have to say probably Captain and Coke is about enough for me. We're not big drinkers or anything, so that's probably about the only thing I do to relax.
Yeah, when we decide to unwind, we're in for the night, so we'll kick back a little bit. But I would have to say my favorite thing to drink is I like fruit juices. Really, they're my favorite. And on the adult side of things, I like pina coladas, so that has rum in it too. So we got that in common too. We like rum drinks. So that makes it easier when you have to stock up the house for the holidays.
All right. So what is your favorite music?
Well, Jill has actually turned me into a metalhead, I'll have to say. When she came along, I was probably more 80 ballads than anybody else. And her and her dad show up and, they put Ozzy's Boneyard or, a podcast like yours or something on. And it's all heavy metal from there, Dave.
Yeah, we were actually walking through the store the other day, and an AC/DC shirt caught my eye. It was like a retro shirt, and I'm like, I have to have it. So we're classic rock to heavy metal and everything in between. If I hear something I like it. A little bit diverse taste, but I would have to say I'm more of a metal girl.
Yeah.
A little bit of punk rock thrown in.
So who's your favorite band of all time, Joe?
Of all time. That's a tough one. But I was...
B-52s, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say B-52s, but he said it for me. Yes, I have to admit, I love the B-52s. They would have to be my all-time favorite. Yes. But closely followed by Iron Maiden and AC/DC.
There you go. You can't go wrong with Iron Maiden.
No.
There's a lot of Motorhead in the garage, put it that way.
Get some Judas Priest in there too.
Heck yeah. Yep, you got it.
Well, you two, I want to thank both of you for taking the time to do this interview tonight.
Thank you for having us, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. We appreciate the invitation and happy to do it.
Now, you want to give out your website information, all that again, for the people listening?
Yes, that is pmnitro.com. So if you visit our website, like I said, you have links to all the social pages, and you can read our biographies about all of our current team members and a little bit about our history, and you'll see what our plans are, and we try to keep people up to speed. So please check in once in a while and see what we're up to, and not too far distant future, you'll be seeing a major announcement from us about our testing and plans for the future.
Okay, well, great. After you guys are up and running, we'll get you back on the air again.
Sounds great. So can't wait.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. You guys have a great night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.